Well, today in the garden, we are going to start transitioning from our spring garden to our summer garden. The heat has hit. And for me, what that means is I'm going to kind of let the cottage garden exuberance, the organized chaos, if you will, give way to more of a structured Mediterranean garden feel. I am going to do this because of just that very reason. I want it to feel different than it felt before. Before it was all about abundance and everything, and now I want it, and more gardeny. Right now I want it to feel almost more like a park. So today we're going to discuss some design layout, garden design layout tips to do just that, to create that gardening feel, but also discuss some really practical reasons why you might want to do this to your own gardens, well, because summer is upon us. So make sure to stay tuned to the end, because I want to share with you something that I've never done really in any of my gardens, much less my English cottage garden, and you'll find out what that is. Now, it can be kind of intimidating to tackle this job, but what I've been doing is I've just been taking an area of about 6 feet by 6 feet every morning, and then another one in the evening when it's a little bit cooler, and I am just pulling up those things. So you can see this space right in here, underneath the star magnolia, I've pulled up a lot of things, and you can tell that because now the soil looks kind of disrupted. It doesn't look as full anymore. You can see that I've cut back some things pretty hard, and it just looks, well, it just looks a little bit more clean. And what that does then is it makes the architecture of things, here's my pointer, it makes the architecture of my strong, I think, boxwood globe game really begin to take on a life of its own, because I don't have all of that other verticality and almost weedy beauty of the flowers that were there before. Now it's going to be more about structure. Structure in the center, and all of the color and the seasonal interest in that color will again be on the border. So here's my strategy, and another reason I'm doing it for very practical reasons. As I was pulling out lots of the things in here, I began to notice that there's already signs. Stuart's about to fall over. You caught the edge. There's already signs of powdery mildew. I have seen signs of those dreaded budworms on my geraniums. There's just other things in here that I just don't like what's going on. So I want to increase air circulation, because now it's humid and it's very muggy, unlike the way it was before. So that is something that's going to encourage disease and pests, and I want to do whatever I can to prevent that. So case in point, that's another very practical reason that I want to take out some of the things that are past their beauty, past their prime, and create more open space in here. Now, here is something, and my question of the day. You may recall that I really deliberated about whether or not to lose and cut back the bottom ball on these double ball Eugenia topiaries. And I decided to. And at that point in time, I was happy that I did it. And now I'm not really sad that I did it, but I do see that there's a void in here now that would be filled if that lower ball were still in place, and it's not there any longer. So I am going to have to do something to tidy up this area then. I transplanted some leucanthemum over in here, and you can see it's still kind of droopy. But what I'm going to do in this area is I'm going to clean it up really well. I'm going to remove anything that's gone to seed in here. Again, I'm working on an area that's about 5 feet by 5 feet. And I'm going to really clean up anything that's in here that I don't want in here. And then once this section is done, and all my sections are done, I'll come back in here with a very light layer of mulch. Nothing that will really impede some of the things that have gone to seed, like this foxglove, but enough to make it a little bit more presentable and also be receptive to seeds that drop in the future. We talked about that earlier. And boy, the bumblebees are out today. Another reason that you want to do this is because it is so cathartic you really feel like you are getting a blast of dopamine, a great dopamine hit, because you get instant gratification when you pull out something that doesn't look very good, and all of a sudden it looks clean, it looks more orderly, and because of that orderliness, it feels more serene. So in this specific area, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So in here, I have some larkspur that I'm going to pull out because it's about done, and some dill that doesn't look too happy. I'm going to cut back the stalk on this foxglove because you'll see that the bottom is starting to yellow. It's starting to get a little bit pest riddled, and I want to save these seeds. Then I've got some Verbena bonariensis that's growing up kind of in the middle, and I want a little bit of that Verbena bonariensis, a wonderful, wonderful hoverer, to be inside the border, but not a lot of it. And here's another reason why. You can see it's starting to get powdery mildew. So I want to improve the air circulation in this area. The other thing I'm going to do is just pull off any foliage that doesn't look very good. I've got some butterfly weed seedlings that are in here. I don't want those in here. I want those in an area that's closer to autumn's edge. So I'm pulling out all of those. I'm going to deadhead some Veronica, I see, over here. And in general, I'm just going to clean up any debris that's on the ground. And I'm just going to make this look more tidy, a clean slate, if you will. And less congested for greater air circulation, and again, for more peace of mind. Now, the other reason, in addition to, I want it to look less chaotic and more orderly, that I'm pulling out a lot of things that are spent, is because there's other things in here waiting in the wings that really want their time to shine. So this is probably true in your own garden. The butterfly candy is finally starting to really put on some girth. The plants themselves are getting larger. They'll make more of a presence here, and also it will start putting out flowers, which will make me very happy. But the other reason is, you may recall that a while ago I had waiting in the wings in one of these little pots, specifically in this pot where I now have some beautiful purple basil. I don't know if you recall when I planted that. I had some pink zinnias planted in here. And I took them out, I divided them up, and I put them in the border. And because of that now, I want to reduce the congestion around them. So I'm slowly but surely removing anything that will kind of impede airflow and also distract from their beauty. So things that need to be cut back, I am going ahead and cutting back to hopefully get more bloom later, but also to reduce the congestion. And it just kind of, you can almost hear the garden sigh a little bit, as it's just not required to be quite so bountiful, and it's starting to feel a little bit more relaxed. Again, it's about the feeling that I want to create in the garden. This dill, it's still pretty, but nevertheless, it's gonna go, and I'm gonna take it. My hands get full. And won't that make a beautiful bouquet? Another practical reason that I'm doing all of this is because we're supposed to get a good rain this afternoon. And if I clear out some of the debris and some of the clutter, it will really help the soil absorb and get saturated with that delicious, wonderful, healthy rainwater. Here's another tip. So I've got these gorgeous breadseed poppies in bloom right now, and eventually I do want them to spread in this area and maybe on the other side. They look absolutely gorgeous from a distance. Up close and personal, not so much, because I'm still waiting for my butterfly candy bushes to get larger so that they hide what Stuart calls the ugly chicken legs of my plants. But while I am waiting for these to really culminate their bloom and also for some of the seed heads to dry, is I'm going to remove some of the bottom browning foliage. Again, it makes this area less congested. It makes things look a little tidier. Gives me an instant sense of immediate gratification. I guess that's redundant. Can also tell some of this bottom foliage might be a little riddled with spider mite. I can make decisions here on if I want the Verbena bonariensis that's gone to seed around it to stay or to go. And some of it, I think I want it to go. It's all about removing some of the congestion down here. Ultimately, I will pull out all of these poppies and let them go to seed to be beautiful another day. But for right now, I am doing what I can to get increased airflow through here and make it look more beautiful. Takes no time at all, and I immediately feel better. Okay, lastly, since I want the feel of it to be a little bit more, well, park-like, and parks, I think, kind of, well, they elicit a sense of relaxation, of sitting, of enjoying nature. Whereas the very exuberant cottage garden that I had before, it was beautiful, but it was always demanding my attention to admire its beauty and appreciate the pollinators, but also to constantly deadhead, knowing that there was just so much to do. I want a more relaxed vibe now that the heat has set in. Yesterday was almost 100, Stuart. Today it's cooled down, but something else that I'm doing, since I do want to sit and relax more, and that is, you'll see that most of the Brazos penstemon that was coming up in here, and all of the larkspur, and all of the Minoan lace that was growing on the social patio, I've now removed. Because before I wanted it to almost feel as if I was sitting in a meadow. Now I want to feel as if I am sitting in a park that's very serene. I might come out here and read, and I don't want it to constantly be screaming at me, Linda, come make me look better, come smell my blossoms, come, tend to my beauty. I now want to appreciate the stature and the evergreen structure and just the very serene, subtle, almost like Mediterranean beauty of the boxwood and the fewer things that are in bloom. Now here's something I have never done before, and I'm sure many of you have, but I haven't, and it's kind of an experiment for me, and I'm hoping it will be a happy and successful experiment. And that is, this may surprise you, I have never let my garden mums go ahead and bloom. I've always continually whacked them back until the 4th of July so that I get really strong fall bloom. But this year I decided I'm going to let them go ahead and flower because I think it will add to the kind of a bushy, stocky, well-defined color that I want for this summer. I'm going to let them go ahead and bloom, and then I will cut them back, give them a feed, and see if I can get them to rebloom again in the fall. I bet it's going to work. I don't know why. And a second question of the day, have you guys ever done it, and what's your experience with it? And it might also partly depend just on how long your growing season is and whether or not you have time for them to put out a second set of buds for fall. I also cut down my drying allium seed heads. I'll bring those in, and they will probably be resurrected in a flower arrangement somehow. So there's still so many things that I can bring from the outside into the cottage to bring the outdoors in. Hopefully this gave you a few ideas on how you too can transition your garden, transform it from spring into summer. Some of you may not be as far ahead as we are, but you will get there. The heat will arrive, and you too might want to just redesign your garden to have less of a gardeny feel and more of a park feel.